Years ago, Hot Rod Magazine built a 3D3 adding 117 horsepower, so we did the exact same thing, and here it is. So let's make some noise. You guys, you know everybody calls me the Mopar man, but like I've always said, I love all kinds of muscle cars. This here is a 2002 Camaro Z28 convertible, which I bought brand new in 2002 when the plant that built them here in Quebec closed down that year. Actually, I don't drive it anymore. My daughter took over now. Back in the year 2000, I had a silver convertible that I built, a Hemi Challenger convertible. Silver with a red interior. I had it sold after a year, and when I came home, my daughter asked me, "You sold the Challenger, Dad?" I never knew she wanted a convertible that badly. So I had to do something. So I said, you know what? There was the last year of the 2002 Camaro getting built here. So I said, you know what? Let me order one. So I bought it, and here it is. So here we have the last production of the 2002 made in Quebec. And this is the 4th generation Camaro. Let's open the hood, take a look what we've got underneath. This car is all original except for the 4 tires, which I just had replaced this week. After all, after 18 years, they started to crack. So it wasn't safe, so I had them replaced. And all Z28 Camaros come with an LS1, one of the great engines from GM with the push rod. I believe it's 325 horsepower rating, and it goes great. I used to race it, and I used to do very, very low 13s in the quarter mile. I believe I did the best time was 13.14 with the tires you see, the tires that came with the car. So it's a pretty quick car for that time. There it is. This is, I raced it at San Air when I had it running in the quarter mile races. And a few years later, they had the Greek races, because we have a lot of Greeks racing at that racetrack at Naperville. And they had the event. And that was a very special day because I took the event. And I won the championship, and here it is to prove it right here. Right there. There it is at the racetrack at Naperville Dragway. I won the championship with the Greek races in Naperville Dragway. It was a special summer. We had a lot of Greeks racing, so we had races, and it was in the quarter mile. And of course, I took the championship. And there it is. There's the car. There's a race track at San Air, and there's the flag with the trophy back there. There it is. And we finally got great weather here in Montreal. I'm going to take a ride. It's so beautiful. It's sunny. It's not very hot. It's not humid. It's a cool day, and I can't pick a better day to take a cruise in a convertible. Car that only has very low mileage with 21,000 kilometers. I'll take it for a ride. If you've never seen it before, here it is. So let's go for a ride and enjoy it. I hardly drive this car. It drives like a brand new car, which it is with 21,000 kilometers, which is roughly what, 15,000 miles or so. Anyways, let's go for a little ride around the block. Here we go. Oh, we got a beautiful sunny day. Right now I don't race this car anymore. I used to, but now we just cruise with it. I don't do any putting it to the pace or anything like that. Just cruise and enjoy it. After all, it is my daughter's car. So I bought it then in 2002, and I let her drive it. It's hers now. So quiet, all original, all genuine, paint and all. The only thing I've done to this car is oil changes. Besides that, I installed 4 tires, and that's it. And it goes pretty good, let me tell you. Nice, comfortable, turn key and go. I just took it out of storage the other day, and now I just want to drive it. I brought it to the shop just to get the dust off it. I had to plate it. I had an evaluation done on it because after 18 years, you know, in the books, it's not worth anything, of course. And if you can look at the car, it looks like a brand new car. So I wanted to get an evaluation that it's worth something. Yeah, I'll give it a little kick. Okay, here we are. We're the street over next to my shop. Here we go. I'm sure my daughter doesn't mind. After all, it is a Z28. So it's not a V6, it's a V8 in here. LS1. What more can you ask for driving a convertible on a beautiful sunny day? You can't ask for anything more than that. It's a gorgeous day because we don't get this very often. We're up in Canada, which the winters are long, and I couldn't say anything better than driving a convertible on a cool, sunny day like today. You see, they're not old Mopars. Hope you guys enjoyed the ride, and now let's take a tour inside my shop and see what's going on. And let me just say what I've got at my shop at the moment. Got a 64 Corvair, 6-cylinder, 2 carburetors. He's here for to do a tune-up on his engine and the front end. He's here now because he wants me to replace all the bushings. So he supplied all the parts. So slowly but surely we're going to get it all done. I got ball joints to replace, tie rods, bushings on the upper control arm, lower control arm, and whatever else he needs. He's asked me to replace the oil pan, the transmission pan, gaskets, because they had a few leaks at the rear of the car. So we're going to get it done. He wants me to install Petronics, ignition, got his ball joints, control arm bushings, inner tie rods with the sleeves, a new bitumen arm bushing. So we've got a few pieces to do on this Corvair, and I can't wait to take this for a ride with you viewers. Let me tell you, because this is a car that Ralph Nader said was unsafe at any speed. But you know what? Let's get it done, and then we'll take it for a ride and let's see how it goes. I know that Ralph Nader said this was dangerous at any speed, but I don't know if the Corvair had sway bars from the factory. But I realized the one on this car, there is one in the front. Was it done aftermarket? Was it from the factory? I'm not sure. I'm sure the car should handle much better with a sway bar, and I'm sure they had nothing in the back as a sway bar. That would have helped it. No sway bar in the back? No, I don't see no sway bar in the back. You know, I never drove this car fast enough to see what they meant. But it's time for me to take it for a ride and see how it goes. I used to have a Corvair for a couple of years. It was a Corsa with the 4 carburetors. I believe that was the high performance model, 1966. I've had it for a couple of years. Very interesting car. Had people that wanted to buy it, so I sold it to somebody that was a big enthusiasm on Corvairs. I don't know. I've driven my car. It was pretty good. I don't see why they say that, but then again, any car in the old days was unsafe at any speed. That's my opinion. Well, today's cars are designed for handling no matter what. But those days in the 60s, the 50s and all of that, these cars did not handle. So just don't consider the Corvair was the only car that was dangerous. There were a lot of cars that were dangerous. They're making cars a lot safer today with 4-wheel disc, sway bars front to rear, 2 mirrors, airbags, seat belts all the way around, So you can see like today, compared to the 60s, a lot of changes have done to the cars. Of course, better tires, better braking, better suspension, more safety, airbags, seat belts, padded dashes. You got all the safety you want today. Those cars can have none of the above. But just to tell you, there's a big difference between today's cars and those days. But these old cars have character. They have charisma. They look different. You know, they're totally different. They're human design. These are cars. Okay, maybe they're not as safe as the cars today, but those cars at a mile away, you can tell what they are. And another car I have in the shop just for a basic tune-up to look for loss of power that my client was running on a 442 1969 Oldsmobile. Right here. He's brought it in because he did some work on the engine, didn't perform well. I didn't have a chance to work on it yet, but I'm going to work on it next week. I want to tune it to get the power back that he had, and that's about it. But isn't this beautiful? Nice red 69 442. He's got the genuine original wheels. They're widened in the back for bigger tires, for bigger rubber. Factory mags for 69. And Brian, you've got one beautiful ride you got here, Brian. Very nice. It's got a beautiful layout. He's put his own gauges in it. It's got the B&M shifter. Beautiful car. Black interior, bucket seats. What more can you ask for? This is going to be one beautiful ride when I get it done. You know, I used to have an Oldsmobile 1973 as a winter car, and it turned out to be a great car because I've never had any issues with it. 1973 Oldsmobile was a 350. It was a winter bazoo, and you know what? It was a great car. It was a gas guzzler, but it never let me down. This is going to be a beautiful ride, 442. The only reason Brian brought it here is just to tune it up, get the power back into that V8, and let him drive it for the summer. And speaking of V8s, I've got a 70 Trans Am here that kept running on 7 cylinders. So I looked into it. My customer told me, Nick, it doesn't run, there's no power no matter what. So I started making a compression test and I found out cylinder number 3 had a 0 compression. And for some reason, the exhaust valve was bent. And here it is. Watch this. What caused this is possible that maybe he's got piston valve clearance is not enough. I'm going to look into it. I'm going to have a new valve coming in next week. I'll put it in, I'm going to check it because I know he's got a roller cam in there. I don't know who assembled the engine. I don't know if you looked at these clearances. And for one reason, there's only one valve bent in the whole engine. So I'm going to look into it before I install it and before we take it for another ride. And at 5,000 RPM, we should not be bending valves. You know, for all I know, you could have bent the valve maybe when he was adjusting the walkers or something. You don't know. Anyways, we did not build this engine, and my customer told me, Nick, fix it, I leave it to you, and get it done right. And I used to have a 71 Trans Am with a 455 HO. You know, back in the day, I built a lot of engines. In the back alley, I built a lot of engines. And you know, the only engine that came back with me with a spun bearing was a 455 Pontiac HO. I couldn't believe it. The spun bearing after 1,000 miles, but it doesn't matter. I did fix it. Then I put it to the pace again, and again, and again, and then it lasted forever. And then a couple of years later, I sold that car to a friend of mine. And now we got a 400 Pontiac here that I did not build. And we found an exhaust valve that's bent badly. 0 compression on cylinder number 3. So, it's here, and let's get it fixed. So in the meantime, while I'm waiting for the valve to come in on this one, I was waiting for a power steering pump that I had to replace the seals and the casing on this power steering pump, which I just received yesterday. Here it is. I filled it up with oil. I did the oil change. I was trying to do the tune-up. I filled it up with oil to make sure it's full, and the very next day, I come here, look at this. I had all the oil on the floor from the power steering pump. I thought maybe it was a pressure hose or return hose or the steering box. No, it was all in the casing of the pump. So now I got this back and I'm ready to finish off this car any day soon. It's been rebuilt because the casing was rusted out. So my supplier that rebuilds his power steering pumps, he found me another casing exactly the same as the one that came out of the car. So we had it replaced, put a new seal kit, and it's ready for installation. Like I said many times, when you got a car in storage for many years, once you get it started, you're gonna find all the weak links. For example, seals, for example, master cylinder, power steering pump, steering box, wheel cylinders, calipers, and whatever's hydraulic, transmission, motor, whatever. Now, once you get it running, drive a few miles, you're gonna find everything that's leaking. So we try to do the most we can before we even get it for a road test. The only mess I did was right here on my floor. But I prefer to have it here than have it at my client's house. So we'll take care of that too. And every time I deliver a car, I have another one coming in. The other day, Danny brought in a 66 Impala, which is right here. And this is pretty unique. 1966 Impala with, I believe it's a 5.3. Sort of kind of a resto mod. He came in here to fix a fuel problem issue because this is a big no-no. When you have an electric pump, it has to be put beside the tank or underneath the tank because these are gravity fed. They're not meant to be mounted in the front. Also, this is a 14-pound fuel pump which has no regulator. So he kept flooding the carburetor. So our job here is to replace the fuel pump with a 6-pound carder, throw it in the back, get it going, and deliver the car. There you have it. And like I've always said, we always have cars coming in from everywhere. It takes all kinds to make a muscle car shop, let me tell you. And this is what you get here, all true muscle cars. Oh, by the way, I had someone made a comment last year talking about the 69 Chrysler 300. I mentioned that it was a 3D3. And yes, that guy who made that comment on one of my viewers said to me that 3D3s don't come in the 69 Chrysler 300. By the way, I looked at the serial number. The digit is L, meaning 440 high performance for 1969 for Chrysler 300, which is right back here. I've got Manny working on it because the electrical on the dash got on fire. Yes. Here it is. It's a 3D3 in it now, but from the factory, it's a 440 car. 1969 Chrysler 300. A couple of viewers mentioned that, Nick, it can't be a 3D3, it's a 440 car. And today that I pulled it out of storage, we looked at the serial number, and I believe it's a code digit. The fifth digit is an L, meaning 440. There you have it. And we're working on a fire in the dash, Manny and I. Actually, Manny's doing most of the work. We're trying to fix it up for our client because he loves this car. And this client, I had the car out in the back in storage, and every time there was snow, he'd come in with his shovel and brush and blow off all the snow so that the roof doesn't sink in. That's a passionate guy for his car. Like I said, it takes all kinds of cars here in my shop. And now, let's get back to the dyno, and I'll tell you what we've got in there. Let's take a look. Years ago, Hard Rod Magazine built a 3D3, and they wanted to add like a few parts and make a gain of 117 horsepower. So I had a client of mine recently that said, I want to do the same build. So we got his 383 out of his truck that he wanted to build. He brought it here, and we started from scratch, detail to detail, how Hard Rod built his motor. And we went with the basic 383, and he wanted to stay with the 906 cylinder heads casting, which is a 906 casting, I should say, non-ported heads. We had the heads milled down 20 thou. Hard Rod Magazine milled it down 20 thou. They also did the deck with a flat top piston, 0 deck. They had the piston valve reliefs in there, like Hard Rod said there were 6 cc, but I looked it up and I used the same Keith Black pistons. There were 8 cc. So anyways, that's irrelevant. So this is what we wanted to do. We just wanted to copy and make the same horsepower. They came up with, if you look it up, they had an engine build that made 455 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 456 torque at 48 out 100 RPM. This from the factory is a 335 horsepower engine at 5,000 RPM. So then they built it, and this is what their results were. So I started with the same thing with John. We started with the base 383. We said like we put the flat top pistons, 0 deck, milled the heads 20 thou, non-ported heads, 1/7/8 headers. We also did the timing roughly 36 to 37 degrees, sometimes 35. Anyways, I played with it, I got it perfect. And one other part, we also used the same flat tappet hydraulic cam with the double springs on this engine. Here's the comp cam we use. It's a CRB XE285 hydraulic lifter, -10. That's the exact cam we use. Also advanced at 4 degrees, installed in the engine.
Nick wants to match the Hot Rod Magazine build part for part, but he's missing one piece.
I don't have the M1 intake manifold that they used. I'm looking for one, which I've lately found one, but I don't have it in the moment. But it doesn't matter. We have a Torker intake manifold right here for the 383 with a 750 carburetor. And by the way, there's a brand new carburetor I just got. I want to try it out. I want to see what it's going to do. I believe the air-fuel ratio is perfect. I did the timing. I did some running. I just broke in the cam. So I want to make a little test with you viewers here that we're here now. But the real result is when I receive this M1 intake, which I've located one, I can't wait to install it and make another test to see if we can match hot rod. The only difference, besides the intake manifold when I get later on, which I'll receive it, is the compression ratio hot rod came up with. They had a 9.2 compression ratio because they used a 39 thou felt pro gasket. They didn't have a steel head gasket from Chrysler then, which was a 20 thou. And since I got them in stock, I wanted to go to a little bit more compression. So I brought it up to 9.4 with a steel head gasket of 20 thou. And this is what this engine is right now. A lot of people had the 383 engine, couldn't afford a 440 or whatever. And matter of fact, my first engine, when I first bought my first muscle car, was the 383 Dodge Challenger 1970. And then when this customer of mine came up and said wanted to make this build, I found it very interesting to do it because I didn't do this setup back in those days. Okay, so it's a little radical cam. We're not gonna have power brakes on this one. John doesn't care about power brakes in this situation. He said he'll put a vacuum pump, but it doesn't matter. We wanted to put that cam that hot rod tested with and wanted to see what we're gonna make with this thing. But when I get that M1 intake, I'm also going to use the 850 Demon that also hot rod used, which John has already on his vehicle. So I'm going to save this carburetor with the M1 intake, put it on the engine after when I get that intake manifold, and then we're going to presume more testing in the future. I'm sure some of you are going to ask me, you've got an intake right here, which is a Performer RPM. It's a dual plane, but we're not looking to use this intake manifold. I could have used the Torker or this one, but my goal is the M1. So when that comes in, we're going to use that intake with the 850 Demon, and then we'll do our final testing. But in the meantime, we got the Torker 383 in there with a 750 double pumper. Let's try it out, see what we get. We're going to do a factory test of 5,000 RPM, see how it goes. And then we're going to take it to 6,000 RPM, just like hot rod did. So let's make some noise. Okay, now we turn on the main power source on our engine stand, put on my battery charger, and turn on my water line to the absorber. Let's get the computer going. And this is a non-stroker engine. It is a 30 oval bore with a factory crank and a factory stroke. So we got a 4.280 bore versus a 338 stroke. Okay, I'm ready. Here we go. Did I forget anything? No. Yeah, we're gonna warm it up for a few minutes. I also forgot to mention that after we broke in the camshaft, we installed the inner springs on the exhaust valves because the installed height was much shorter. So now that all the springs are in place, we can finally do some testing. We're gonna run it at 160, 170, warm it up, and then when it gets there, we're gonna do some testing. Okay. Okay, here we go. We're about to start. Okay, we're gonna start our test at 3,000 RPM and take it to 5,000 at 300 RPM per second. I'm just gonna open my water line. We got 166 degrees. I guess we're ready to go. Let me put on the water line, let's go. Here we go. Okay, let's see what went. Here it is. We took it up to 5,000 RPM. Factory's 335 horsepower at 5,000 RPM, so this is where I took it. And look what we've got so far. We already have 393 horsepower at 5,000 RPM. That's more than 1 horsepower per cubic inch. So far, we're on the right track. We got good potential to go to 6,000 RPM. I'm sure we're gonna hit the 400s when we go above 5,000 RPM. So now let's make it more interesting. Hard rod took it to 6,000. The sound's gonna be interesting at 6,000 RPM. It's gonna scream. And we do have factory connector rods in there, factory crank, hypereutectic pistons. Anyways, you know what? Let's make a test and see how it goes. We're gonna take it off at 3, go to 6,000, just like hard rod did. And let's see how it goes. Ready? Let's go. To 6,000. And let's see what happened. Okay, but so you can turn it off. And there we have it. We just took it at 6,000 RPM. Well, our number's way over 400. We're at 422 at 57, 5800 RPM. Torque numbers are up there too. We've got 440 torque at 4400 RPM. And there you have it. That's where we got the results with the torque intake with the 750 double pump or Holly. So now stay tuned until we get the M1 intake, the 850 Demon, and see if we can get that 455 horsepower just like Hot Rod did. Stay tuned for more power. This car has had an older restoration. I do not know if the engine's been rebuilt or not. Probably was. I'm sure it's sold to factory specs, inside out. But I'm concerned to see what kind of power it makes, practically right from the factory. So what I'm going to do is take it out and go straight onto the dyno with it and see what kind of horsepower it's going to pull out. My customer wants a Kowalski built, so I'm just curious to get on the dynamometer, run it, and see what it can do. Yep, come a little bit front. Okay, stop, go up a bit, go up.
It's been a long, busy day at Nick's shop, but he can't go home yet. He's got to open the mail.
And now it's mail time, and I want to open up some packages that came in the past 2 weeks. So let's get going and see what we've got. The first one was the letter that came in from Eugene. He sent me some information on an old magazine that talked about six packs. Now that Eugene sent it to me, I'm going to put my file in my engine room, and it's good notes to have on hand. And Eugene, thank you very much. So if I need any special info, I've got it right here. Thank you. And this letter is from John from Knoxville, Tennessee. He wanted to say that he loved the videos that we put up. And of course, he did send me a beautiful model of a Hemi detailed and in a little box, so I can put it in my glove box on my Challenger. So John, thank you very much. When I get my Challenger here, I will put it into my glove box. Since I don't have the real thing, I have yours, and I'll be just as happy to have it. Thank you very much, John. And this one is from Rodney from the state of South Carolina. Okay, South Carolina, I think it rings a bell. Yes, I remember I spoke to Rodney. Every package comes with a letter. He just say, hey Nick, here's the flag. I promise you, I really enjoy your channel. Stay safe. Rodney Middleton. Wow, thank you. Let's see the flag of South Carolina. Here we go. We finally got the flag of South Carolina. Thank you, Rodney. Thank you. Every flag gets their first name. And here we go. Thank you, Ronnie. And this one's from Todd from the province of New Brunswick. I've got a lot of viewers from New Brunswick. All right, let's be careful. 1968 Dodge Dart, 344 speed, originally a slant 6 car. I don't know the specs of the engine. I enjoy taking the car out early Sunday mornings and driving it along the St. John River. Keep up the good work, Todd. Todd, thank you very much. There it is. Beautiful Dart, purple again, just like the GTX. All the way from New Brunswick. Todd, thank you very much, Todd. All right, this is from the USA, and this is from Howard from Nebraska. I have a closer flag that represents the Nebraska Cornhusker football team. Wow. Our team has had a very successful past. We are very excited for our future. I would be very happy if you would put this flag in your garage. I really enjoy watching your YouTube videos. Keep up the good work. I like you. Love the old Marlboros. I like the classic muscle cars. Thank you. Howard, thank you very much. And then I'll be more than proud to put this flag up in my shop. I love football, let me tell you. Football, I love NFL. I love even college football, everything. CFL, love it all. Nebraska. Here it is. Thank you, Howard. Who knows what's going to come in next? Anyways, whatever it is, it is. All right. Here's one from the USA, and this is from Crowley, New York State. What flag could be in here? Let's find out. Ooh, I got to be careful how I do this one. Wow. Hello, Nick and the gang at Indie Auto. I am a big fan of your show and watch you as much as my wife lets me. I'm sending you the flag of Nassau County, New York, on Long Island. Oh, I didn't know that. P.S. I have a blue 1970 Le Mans, not a 326. Okay, could be 350, 400. Nice, 1967 Le Mans. I never seen this flag. Let's take a look at it. Now we're getting flags from counties. Nice. Yep, from the state of New York, Long Island. Gerard, there you go, man. Thank you very much. Another flag to the collection. Okay, here we got a package from Amazon. Unknown package. No name, no nothing. Just says Amazon. Let's see what they got here. Oh, wow. Check this out. Parts and accessories. A gift from Mario. Hey, Mario. Enjoy your gift. Mario, hi, Nick. I'm a big Mopar guy. Dad always owned a Plymouth most of my life. Thanks for making my day seeing your work on all these beautiful cars. Thank you, Mario. Place it up in my shop. That's where it belongs. Wow, here's a big heavy package. And this is from Todd from the state of Connecticut. Okay, what could be in here? Yeah, I need a new blade. But anyways, I got it open. Todd, what did you send us? Oh my God, this is very touching, man. Everybody sends me a letter with their package and a gift. I don't know how to thank them. I just don't. Manny, this is for you. Woohoo! I know what this is. This is the electric water valve. This is from Todd, who called me a few weeks ago on the water valve to work on a 12-volt system.
Yes.
Without going through a manual valve. He just sent us in. He just sent us in here. And, oh, he also sent us cookies, biscuits. Look at that. Handy cakes. Wait, we didn't get to the valve yet.
Wait.
This is for the dyno.
Oh, man.
This is for the dyno.
Oh, now this is the serious valve.
Wow, check that out.
Oh, yeah.
He sure knows his stuff, doesn't he? And it works.
Thank you very much.
Todd, there it is.
And this makes our life a lot easier.
Yeah, 12-volt setup. It's a 1-inch pipe, which I told him.
Excellent.
This is something,
fit
man.
this. That's
Look how many pieces he's got here.
That's perfect. Well, he gave you every adapter possible.
Check it out, eh?
Oh, yeah.
You know, when we sometimes do a dyno test, we always go run in the back of the dyno, put a valve, the ball valve,
That's
up
right.
and down, up and down. Well, Todd sent us this here so we can control it from the control board inside the office of the dyno room, which makes it a lot easier.
A lot.
So I don't need anybody to go out there in the back of the dyno, put the switch on and off, like you do sometimes.
Yes, sir.
So I guess Todd got us the
One
right thing.
switch and we activate.
And you know, you got a lot of switches on the board.
Got lots of switches there.
So this is our next project right now. Manny, what do you think?
I'm on it, Nick.
There we go. Todd, thank you very much, Todd.
Thanks, Todd. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And here it is. And this is from Spencer from Markville, Indiana. Engine parts for the Kowalski. All right. I remember this one now. I can remember. I remember Spencer calling me and saying, Nick, if you need a couple of pair of 6-pack rods for your full 40, not doing anything with him. I said, sure, I'll take him. I'll buy them off you. And he says, Nick, don't worry, I'll send them up to you. And I guess here they are. Boy, you sure wrapped this up good, let me tell you. I have viewers here that send me flags from my shop, parts for my car, parts or equipment for my dyno. What more can you ask for? I thought I had 3, I could only find 2. Okay, so you only have 2 Canadian rods. Listen, it's more than enough, Spencer. Thank you very much. These are OEM new. I could not find the boxes. They've been hanging around my garage with about 30 years. Where's it from? Pitbull Performance from Anderson, Indiana. Thank you, Spencer. Thank you. Okay, you guys, I want to thank you all. You're all the best. Thank you for sending me all this. And you guys, don't forget to subscribe. I love you all, and thanks for watching. You guys, I got to rush. I got a few cars outside. It's about to rain, so I got to get out of here and bring them into shop. Thank you. Fire crew. And you guys, if you look down below the video, we have a whole bunch of merchandise that you guys can buy. So whatever you like, buy it, love it, wear it, and enjoy it. And help spread the word of Nick's Garage. And if you have some time, check out our Patreon page. We have extra content and you guys can watch it and take it from there. And we'll see you next time.